Welcome to Pet Business Disruptors. I'm Clayton. I'm here today with Ben McIntyre, who is the CEO and founder of Mersey Raw, one of the UK's fastest growing raw food companies. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Excited to be down here.
Yeah, in beautiful Peterborough.
Yeah. Nice short drive to get here.
Yeah, down some of the country's finest roads.
Yeah, the roads in are lovely. It's just, yeah, you get to there and see everything because they don't move very fast on them roads.
Yeah, so Ben, you sort of exploded onto the scene. Obviously raw food, we've seen the growth of it massively over the last, I would say, 10 possibly to 15 years. I mean, I've been in the industry since I was a kid, and when I was young, it was all about raw food. It was all about tripe. It was all about, we used to go down to, my parents' special, we used to go out to Smithfield markets and we used to get all the tongues and cheek and hearts and all that sort of stuff.
Don't get that many more. They're expensive now.
Yeah, and I grew up like picking, lamb's tongues of my brothers to run. So walk out behind them, lifting the back of their neck with a lamb's tongue. We liked you that one.
So I didn't do that where I could from.
But it's fascinating how it's come back.
Yeah.
And just how strong the industry's become and how much it's centering around raw food now.
Yeah.
How'd you get into it, first of all?
Yeah, very similar to what you said then. Local markets, annoying butchers, farm shops, anywhere we could go to. So originally when I left school, I went on an apprenticeship in a food factory. The food factory was owned by AVP. We bring a lot of the beef into the country. So from an early age, I had a good understanding of food processing, machines, all that kind of thing. So I'd always had that background knowledge of the processes. And then all my life I've had dogs. From a very young age, we've always had English Bull Terriers. 2 of them were rescues. One of them came to us huge. He was massive. He was really overweight. Never a really healthy dog. And then when my mother's 60th, I think it was, 50th, she'll kill me. We got an English Bull Terrier then from a puppy, and it was at that point I'd learned about a raw diet. So from minute one, Gus, his name is, went on a raw diet. And then our previous English Bull Terrier, Jake, who was, unhealthy, eventually died of kidney failure and had problems with his liver throughout his life. We never really done too much digging into it as to why. You just go with the flow, had to put him down for whatever reason. So when Gus came along, it was a raw diet, and then we were looking into things, exploring a little bit more, and then you asked the question, was that what was up with Jake? Is that why Jake sort of passed away from his diet? Because we would feed whenever that was in the local shop, if we forgot food, whatever the 𝐕𝐈𝐃 had on. So more knowledge came as we started to feed Gus a raw diet. And then a shop opened up local, selling raw foods, selling various different products, a lot of sausages and chubs, which were great for the raw diet. Obviously brings a lot of benefits that ultra-processed diet doesn't, but doesn't even have to be all and ends all just to feed the raw diet. And I'm pretty convinced that I could better that. And I was looking at what went into it. I knew obviously the machines that were used in the food processing. So I found a cafe that my uncle no longer used. It had a kitchen. It was tiny, half the size of this room. He put a chest freeze in it, and that filled half the room. I bought a tabletop mincer, a mixer, and then we bought everything we could. Chicken fillets, chicken drumsticks, turkey drumsticks, which were a waste of money because turkey drumsticks don't go through a tabletop mincer. Bought beef hearts, beef offal, and away we went. We were, like I said, we were in the local farm shops. We were in the meat markets. We were buying whatever we could just to feed my dogs, to feed Gus. And obviously at the time, I'd a bit older and I'd moved out. I had 2 of my own dogs, Luna and Pluto. So we were feeding them. And we were just buying same products. I don't want to name any products, but what we were producing with a tabletop mincer far outdone the quality of them. You could see, plenty of colour, full of blood, as they should be, as you would expect a raw diet to be. And then, we started feeding family dogs. Friends were asking, what are you doing? What's this? What's that? And, we would, the food just naturally distributed its way around the family as far as you can go without having a DEFRA license. And then I just thought we could make a go of it. I just really did thought we could make a go of it. How we could do it at scale, I don't know. I didn't know at the time, of course. So, that was just we paid a lot. Originally, the margins were terrible. We were very unprofitable because we were still trying to buy from the local farms, from the local butchers, which, is an economical way of doing it. But yeah, we took on our first production unit in Bull. We got DEFRA down. We got the licensing from Animal Plant and Health, which took a good bit of time, but they were great together. Seems like the industry can be a loggerheads with them guys at times, and I've no experience in any of that. We've had great support from them.
Well, what you find is the people approach these people in the wrong way.
Yes.
If you go, if you go to them and say, "Look, I want your help setting this up," they'll help you.
Yeah.
If you go to them and you're like pushing back and continuously, they get really umpy about it. So, look, I've had it with all. I've dealt with APHA before and DEFRA and trading standards and all these other government, but these are people just doing the job.
They are, yeah.
And if you say to them, "Look, how can we do this properly?"
Yeah.
They're good as gold.
Yeah. So that was the first experience I had, putting the application form in. Like any business, when you take the first step, we don't go out and buy a 100,000 square foot food factory. You buy the cheapest unit you can find, and then we had to make that good. And obviously, it was no food factory by any stretch of the imagination. We had to make it sort of the best we could. And I remember the lady who's our vet called us, and she said, "Listen, I'm here to help you get this license. It's not a question of me stopping you. It's a question of me working with you to get it." So before she even arrived on site, it was nice. We had that really good rapport with her, and we've done everything we could. And then we moved to the second site, which we could kit out a little bit better and, please her a little bit more. I could call her, say, "Thinking of doing this. What do you think?" And they don't stick their neck on the line too much, of course. They're only there for advice and, regulation. So they're not going to tell you exactly what to do, but I've had nothing but support from them from the first phone call till today. So yeah, I've good things to say. I love that.
Yeah. So how do you take that? Because obviously the raw food space is pretty busy.
Yeah.
It's pretty busy, and your growth has been exceptional. One thing I would say is, where you're based in Liverpool, I used to sell natural dog treats for donkey's years. And when I started really blowing up my business nationally, a lot of those actually came from that area.
Yeah.
So I used to do Raw for Cause in Wallasey, and I used to do Dog's Diner. Yeah. And everything else. Yeah. And some for pet feeding Lanks.
Yes.
In Nelson. So I used to do a lot of really good companies.
Northwest based.
Yeah, Northwest based, and it was a really strong area for me. That area sector.
Still very strong. Manchester too. Manchester's incredibly strong at the moment. The shops popping up everywhere, and they're doing really well. But yeah, it was good to get started. So some of the shops you just mentioned, then Dog's Diner and more, in particular, I like hands there still. But her daughter Sophie, I've worked with Sophie from Male One, Ben McIntyre and Sophie. I was still on my previous job, and I was like, we just set up, and this is what we're doing. She was like, "Okay, can I take an order now?" I was like, "Yeah." Had no food ready, no nothing. She hadn't even seen the products, and they'd been great from minute one. And then another shop just up the road from us in Height and brought to your door down guys there. They've just been phenomenal since minute one. They've been on board, and we've worked together. They don't always follow procedure and send their orders in the way they should. They call me and say, "When do you need it?" Like yesterday. And I'm like, okay. So it's a good relationship, but that's a Liverpool thing, I imagine.
No, that's a distribution thing.
Yeah,
it's I used to have it where I'd always say to people, "Get your order in by 2:00, for the next day delivery," and they'd get in at 4:00, and then they'd be
something up there,
and they're texting me on my mobile. "Was he on there? Yeah, you're going there." And I'm like, "No, go on. What do you want me to add on?"
Well, I look back on them days. It was not even that long ago, really, in the grand scheme of things. But, I'd be in that production unit with my girlfriend at 4 or 5 in the morning, getting the meat out, making as much as possible, cleaning it down. Then by lunchtime, I'd be in the van and up to Glasgow and delivering on the way back. I'd call into one of the slaughterhouses and try and do a deal, get what I could, see what offals and tripes were left. So you learn a lot in a short space of time. You work incredibly hard, which we did at that time, and we had no staff. We had a small production unit. There was me and my girlfriend who done production, delivery, social media, marketing, finance. Starting any business, you do every role, but we scaled quick. So everything had to scale with it. And as you're scaling, there's no money in the bank. It's out. You're buying more products. You're buying, you're up and down the motorway a little bit more. And everything just grows. The money grows, of course, but you're spending it just as quick. So we never had no money to employ staff. And yeah, it was interesting calling on family and friends and cousins to come in on summer holidays in school. And then it just grew and grew and grew. We had to sort of limit the growth a little bit at one point because we were just at capacity. We had that small production unit, which started off with chest freezers, and then we went to the walk-in freezer. Then we ended up with 3 walk-in freezers. And then they were just coming in thick and fast. And it was mainly B2B at the time. Shops just racked up, mainly around the Northwest. And then we started going to Scotland. We were there probably every other week. Down south was the same, and almost every stock was from early on. I think we retained all of them. And, the service then wasn't great. We were scrambling to put orders that we were making, production to suit the orders. Not the other way around. Holding the level of stock. We could never get ahead of it. We could never make extra or something to sit on it. So when the orders come in, it was ready. It was just going out the door so fast. And, it's a small community. Like you said, the raw feeding community, and it's growing rapidly. But it's almost like people are patriotic. They're super passionate about feeding raw. And I absolutely love that.
It's, I would class it as ideological, right? So I wouldn't even, that's the thing that I feed raw. I don't just feed raw. I have dogs. I have 5 dogs. I give 2 raw. I give 3 cold breast.
Okay.
But I do find raw, the raw feeding sort of community to be quite ideological. Kind of it's raw. It's raw. You're absolutely feeding.
So it's all them.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas actually,
I like it because as a whole, I think the pet industry stinks sometimes. When you really do a bit of deep diving and look at some studies and, the data that's becoming more available now compared to the data that a lot of things have been based on from a long time ago. There's a clear difference there, should we say. And I think that message should be spread. I think it should be spread with love. I don't think we should be shaming people.
No.
It should absolutely be spread with love. And a lot of people forget that it's for the best interest of the dog. It's for the extra family member that we all have that we're doing this for. It's not a shame thing. Some people don't have the time in the day to do the research. Some people have never come across it. How many people have we heard, never even heard of a raw diet, but within 6 months they're an expert on it and they can't believe they ever fed a certain type of food and they're not doing that anymore. So I think we do need to embrace an element of that, a softer approach. Say what we need to say, but say it a certain way.
I mean, that's the thing is, look, when it comes to dog food, it is one of those things that I've been around a long time, and I have my own opinions on what I like to feed my dogs, but also dogs are so genetically different from dog to dog to dog that there is no a silver bullet when it comes to dog food. And all we can look to do is give the best we can with what we can afford and with the knowledge we have.
Yeah.
And I think I dislike people who come out and shame people for, let's say, feeding WAG.
Yeah.
I like WAG is as good as you're going to get for that value. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there's lots of things we can do to add to that person to really bring it along. But look, I do think raw is one of the best options on the market. And if you actually look at, the concentration of nutrients, in terms of what will do for the dog, it's by far one of the best options. But it's not for everyone, because if you've got small kids, and you feed your dogs raw, or some people don't have the freezer space.
Of course, yeah.
So it's not for everyone.
No, it's not. But again, I think there's a lot that can be done to educate. I think taking a dog on it's like having a child. There's certain things that you have to factor in when you're taking on a dog, and there's some foods out there that they shouldn't be out there. And it's not good what's in them. The claims on the packaging are false. So to then take on, people have a lot of dogs and they say, well, we can't feed this because of that, so we feed the cheapest thing possible. Then maybe you want to take a look at how many dogs you're going to take on before you make them decisions. The more can be done. I think educational material can help with that, because it's not done from we're better than you, our product's better than yours. There's a genuine health. It's the same when it comes to humans. What you're putting in your body, we know, there's stuff up there that you cannot eat twice a day, every single day for the rest of your life, because your life are pretty short. Yeah,
and also the other thing as well, the genetic component as well, is that some dogs just react badly to certain things in the same way that I've got friends who are I know someone who's allergic to nuts, or do you know what I mean? And like everybody is different, and every dog is different, and that like what you can do is actually like cater those meals to the dog individually, you know, and I think education is key. But it's getting it across, and that's look, we're in a knowledge heavy industry. Where it's always you know, like I don't, you know, some dogs need more fiber in their diets to hold the food in their stomach longer. Otherwise, it's just going to fall out of them, you know, and like it's not going to digest properly. And that's not a raw thing. It's not a kibble thing. It's just some specific dog thing. Yeah, a specific dog thing. And so it's about, and we need to know so much as people in the industry. Because if somebody comes to us with an issue, everybody immediately blames the dog food.
Like tell me about it. Like the dog's been swimming in a swamp and eating horse poo, but you know, it's the chicken that they have for breakfast that's made them poo bad 4 days later. It's they do it immediately, and that's something that's funny, the transition from, say, a kibble. If your dog's sick and it's eating kibble, no one tends to question kibble. The minute the dog's sick and it's on a raw diet, and it's like, must be the food. And again, that's down to education, experience, and the diet being around for longer.
What I always used to find, so, you know, like, so it years ago, like, pedigree were the market leaders. When I was a kid, it was like pedigree, chun mixer, all that sort of stuff was the market leader. And if you were to sell them something else and they gave it to their dog and the dog would like ended up like, like loose, they'd immediately say, well, it can't be the food. It can't be the dog. It's got to be the food. Like rather than actually saying, okay, like I should do this gradually. And especially if you've had a dog which has only ever been on one thing. I always liken this to if I only ever ate roast dinners every day of my life,
be a good day.
And then you gave me a curry. Like I'm gonna have problems, and there's nothing wrong with the curry. It's just the fact that like my body's not attuned to moving across different proteins.
Exactly. And some of them really super high in carbs, and it's a cereal-based diet, basically, and say, you know, fillers and whatever else is in there, stuff that the dog doesn't necessarily need, and, you know, there could be lots of rice in there too, as we know, it holds in the stomach a little bit longer, can bum them up, or stop them, you know, and have them looser stools, to then go from that directly to the meat-based diet with, you know, a few liver and heart in there, but you're going to get a reaction, aren't you? You had similar digestives non-stop, and then the rarest steak you could find with a side of liver. It's not, you know, it's not going to be an overnight process, is it? It's going to take time. You really have to weigh it up, and it's having the patience to stick with it, knowing that the greater good is there for the dog. But, you know, it's not nice when the dog's stomach's upset, of course, especially if they're not quite house trained up. But
this is why my whole house is tiled. You go find a dog, you need a tiled house. Don't be messing with carpets anymore.
Cold house.
Yeah, no, I can live with a cold house. I can't live with crap on my carpets, to be honest.
Well, no, I think of it. My house is the same. We have no carpet downstairs, and the dogs don't go upstairs. So downstairs is there. So it's our land. And yeah, we're lucky though. We have a reasonable garden. The dogs eat outside. They always have done. We feed them inside, and it's like they hesitate to eat. If the weather's bad, can we feed them tonight and we can eat inside? Yeah, we're lucky. But again, my dogs have been on a raw diet since minute one, since 7 weeks. And yeah, it's been great for them. It really is.
I mean, it's interesting how much you've grown though. Like there's obviously we know that there's some big money moved into the space. Obviously, 𝐕𝐈, which is now the Nutriment company, has bought Nutriment. It's bought Natural Instinct here recently.
Bought a few tree companies too, I think.
I mean, Benefit got bought out. There's a lot of money in the raw food space now, whereas it's gone from being, some small companies putting together their own brand and doing a good job to suddenly there's real traction in it.
Yeah.
And to succeed in that environment, that's no small effort, to be fair.
Yeah. Sometimes I was speaking to a guy yesterday, and that naivety is sometimes a superpower, and that's, we are naive in that sense. We have no sort of pet food experts working in our business who are saying, well, that's not a good idea because this company's doing that. We do what we believe is right and we keep moving forward like that. We don't go diving into what good people are doing or how the market looks. Like, that's the beauty of us being the way we are. We built the brand to feed my dogs. We fed my dogs, then the brand grew from that. And it's just grown and grown from there. Like, the quality of the products speak for themselves. We are, on the money in that sense. And it's just keeping the level of service up there as we go. But I'm really uninterested about what the rest of the market's doing. I have that innate feeling, like that gut instinct that we're doing the right thing, and what everyone else is doing outside of that, it does not matter to us. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. But there is a lot of money coming into the market. I think I don't even think it touched the sides yet. I think as Raw grows as it is doing, it's just going to explode, and then you're going to see the big players moving into the market after we've denied it for so long, that they're absolutely going to get involved.
I actually like that you said that, to be honest, because my position as a wholesaler was always, I don't have competition. People always used to go, like, hey, worry about price this and price that. I never had competition. No. In my own mind, I never had competition.
Yeah.
I sold what I sold. I did the best job of what I could do selling that product, and I got sales based on that. And if other people lost work because of it,
that's good. And that's outside of your spectrum, that, isn't it? You focus that way. Like, you're doing the right thing.
I think people worry too much about competition, right? Because it also, the problem is with competition is that when you focus on it too much, what you end up doing is you end up gearing your products to look like their products.
Absolutely. You influence about an outside factor, and that takes away from who you are.
Yeah.
And that's definitely not something, unless, to use a football analogy, unless they better lean on Messi playing up front, don't worry about them too much. Yeah, just keep doing your own thing, go and attack yourself, go on exactly what it is you want to do. And that's what we do. That's what we're going to continue to do, our best foot forward. We have tons of plans that quite a big money. We don't have, but we've got to where we've got by one foot in front of the other, and that's what we're going to continue to.
Well, I was going to say, the big problem is that I scale from like 10 grand a week to 8 grand a week. So $500,000 a year to $1 million a year. And that involved 2 warehouse changes, a lot of capital. Like, I had like four 7.5 ton lorries going out delivering.
Yeah.
Again, owed licenses with just the infrastructure around it. I mean, when you do over 20 years, that's one thing, like I did, but you're almost doubling sales year on year. Yeah. Like, how do you keep up with that financially?
Well, everything's gone back into the business. So, like I said, we were heavy early on buying machinery. We were future proofing, so I had that experience from the food industry of what machines we're going to need, what are good machines. We bought solids, we bought really well, and like them, we're lucky now that machines are fully owned and paid off, so we don't have that. We don't have too many bills in that sense. Everything just goes back into the business. Everything constantly goes back into the business to achieve what I would like to achieve, which is a bit of an open question because I don't know where that ceiling is. You have that initial roadmap in your mind, then we probably will need to bring some capital into the business, but that's got to be done right. I mean, a business that's growing well, there's a lot of people will know it's not hard to get money. It's really not. The bank will give you money, investors will give you money. There's VCs everywhere at the moment, but maybe that's changed a little bit now. The tax rules have changed, but it's not too difficult to get money. And everyone wants to give us money at the moment because we're growing so well, but you've got to make that the right fit. The vision of the company can't change. We need to bolster the company and the mission we're on, not take away from that. And that's all about putting everything back into there, working with people that we want to work with and growing to where we can grow.
And also, I liked your range of products. I was looking through your site, just like you do like a minced rabbit with a fur and that sort of stuff. Some pretty unusual stuff, which is, and that's also interesting because obviously I guess you're feeding to your own dogs, so you're also thinking about things like gut biomes and that sort of stuff with a fur. And I like the fact that you're pushing the envelope a little bit in terms of what raw food's actually looking like.
We've tried to do that from minute one. We were, unbeknownst to me, slightly famous for goat. I got off with goat early on, and as I know, home goat's expensive. Hard to get and extremely expensive, especially trying to get it from inside the country. It's difficult. Early on, we had 2 people offer us goat, and so I was like, yeah, great price, took it. And then, 3 shops called me up and bought everything we had there, and then it's like, great. I think this is so good. And then called the suppliers back. I was like, need more of that? I said, we haven't got any. And we have, but it's 4 times the price. So, we work hard to get it people don't understand what goes into them. Then find someone who does it, then trying to agree the right price. And people come onto our website, people who have, not too much experience with it will tell us how extortionate the goat is. It's absolutely not. Sometimes we're selling like £5 a kilo. You just Google it. You cannot buy a kilo of goat for less than £15. And then people say, it's a little bit fatty. Absolutely, yeah. Lean goat is £30 a kilo. We've got to work with what we've got. You've got to be very realistic. No one's paying £30 a kilo to feed a dog. If it's a really small dog, then potentially as a treat every now and then. But you've really got to balance that. But to go back from what we say, we want to cover the basis, tunes, stripes, beefs, that kind of thing. Obviously we do them, we do lots of them, and that's makes up a lot of our sales. But you want to be different. We don't want to be the same. And you find a lot of these companies who've got the exact same range. One, a lot of them is made in the same plat. It's all come from the same place. But two, what are you achieving there? How are you trying to claim a slightly better quality of chicken? Like, it's not. We have good quality across the board in everything we do, and if we don't, it kind of doesn't last. But again, you mentioned rabbit. Rabbit had the same problem as goat, so we were buying rabbit from various different people because it's hard to get, especially wild. And we brought it on, and it done really, really well, and it's just took off like a rocket ship. Like, we cannot stay on top of it. It's reasonably priced as well, but as a lot of people find, you're trying to keep it wild. It's so hard, seasonal, depending on when people are out and that kind of thing. So yeah, but we want to be different. We make no apologies about rabbit going out of stock. It's hard to get. People should be very aware of that. It's not easy. You don't go to the supermarket and pick a few thousand of them up. It's just not the way it works.
So I used to have the same problem with deer stuff, actually, because that's crazy seasonal. And so I used to say to people, look, there's going to be 6 months a year. I'll buy as much as I can. Yeah. But there's going to be I used to do like long deer skins and deer legs and deer pelts and all this sort of stuff. But it's not farmed meat. You don't farm deer. You haven't got you don't stick them all in the barn for the winter.
It's crazy. Sometimes when it comes to deer, it's hand over fist. It's ever even out of season. We find it. We don't struggle. We have our supply in place now, so we know where we're working, especially with the venison lines. We have, it comes in well because we sell so much of it. It comes in routinely. But yeah, you'd be surprised if you go digging. I think that's one of my strengths early on in business. I would pick up the phone. I didn't quite pull up the yellow pages, but I'd done something similar. I would call and call and call. If I didn't find the right person, I would keep calling. If I found someone new, I would get the number from them. And it's paid dividends. We've formed some fantastic relationships with suppliers and, traders and whatnot onwards. So we don't suffer too bad, touch wood. And as we've grown, we've maintained them. But like going back to rabbits and goat, that's much harder. Much harder. But trying to keep a good quality, consistent supply coming in is something that I am so committed to. Like a lot of the raw brands in the UK, obviously we share the same suppliers, and there's them suppliers offer stuff they just would not touch. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's not nowhere near what we're doing, and it'll be noticeable. The product will go backwards to bring that into it. It's not an option for me. Maybe when we're hitting sort of crazy numbers, hundreds of tons per week, then we'd have to consider introducing something else, just because that supply won't be there. So it wouldn't be a question of price then. It's a question of not physically being able to get it. But when I'm in here, that level, and I'm absolutely fine with them. Happy to knock out a seriously good quality product and do it at the volumes we are.
Yeah. And your packaging as well. I noticed that you've changed all your packaging over, because that's something that gives you a very unique look. I mean, if you look at the market at the moment, it's either the high-end tubs, which break when you look at them, or it's those like little chub rolls for the cheerful ones, which are an absolute nightmare to do anything with.
Yeah. So that, again, it's just the best market research is in your own kitchen, isn't it? It's what you like. So I used to love getting raw food in a tub, taking the lid off, feeding it, popping the lid up back in the fridge, and then we use same ones where you peeled the back, you cut the sausages open, you made a mess, and then you were trying to remember to do them when it was frozen, popping in the Tupperware, and yeah, it was inconvenient, but then you're trying to balance out. You've got a different metric then, haven't you? You've got convenience, price, quality, all them things. So we try and sit like the quality's there, the quality's undoubtable, and then at price and convenience. So that's where the tubs came in. And originally we had a really clear tub, the same tub as we couldn't use, the black one, but it's clear, and it just looked phenomenal. You can see the product in it, and we're so confident in the product. We love that. but it was so brittle. The minute you froze it, you'd look at it and it would crack. So we moved over to the black tubs, which they put a black dye in and a freeze dye, which then helped, but still not quite there. I've spent the best part of the last 12 months designing and speaking with multiple manufacturers to get this new tub right, and it's not gone out into mass production just yet. It will do very soon, maybe in the next couple of days, but I'm very confident in this tub. Every aspect of it. It's neat. It's a little bit smaller than the current tub. It's smarter. You can see the product through it. We've got a nice, lovely label to go on it. It's all fully recyclable. Every plant in the UK will take the super convenient lid on and off. The price is very reasonable. Like, to balance out compared to other brands with a tub and a lid, we're there or thereabouts. We're pretty much cheaper than everyone, and then even brands that don't have convenience tubs, like with the lids, but we beat a lot of them on pricing too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The new tubs, I'm so excited for us. So very excited for, and slightly nervous in the sense of, compared to the current range, if you're thinking of a glass top freezer, we're black and white as it stands. Yeah. Soon we're going to be every colour in the rainbow, and it's going to be a different look. So, one, will it work? We're quite confident it's going to work. And two, how well is it going to work, and what's that going to mean in terms of current outputs?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like the growth is quick as well, and like I mean, how do you look at other sort of verticals next year? Like, because obviously you also sell other products on your website if you're a D2C website. But you look at making that sort of stuff, like things like supplements, like
So the supplements I'm really into, and definitely want to get a supplement range out there. To be practical about it, I know what's gone into the machines to get us to where we've got now. Can we achieve them? Can we go and buy them machines and produce our own supplement range, hold the stock we need to produce them supplements, the packaging, into the hundreds of thousands of pounds minimum to get even the first batch made? So I spoke with people who I know make a fantastic supplement. None in the pet industry, funny enough, but I just know the facilities they operate from, what they're doing on a global scale, it's phenomenal, and the accreditations they've got supplying athletes. So the products have got to be they've got to be tested a certain way. So, we're in discussions constantly with people like that to try and get something in place, and then that'll be a good starting point eventually as we grow and as we've done. We want to build everything in house and take it that way. But it just comes back to various different factors. But yeah, supplements are definitely big on a lot of sort of your kibble products, and that they put a lot of stuff into the kibble, which is great for the dog that we don't necessarily have in a raw diet. Not that I think kibble even comes close to it, but how can we then incorporate them on top of the raw diet simply and convenient?
Yeah. Although I do think with kibbles, there's always a lot of bag tagging involved where they'll put in glucosamine, but it will be 30 milligrams, whereas you need 180, and there's all this sort of stuff. So that's why I like supplements, is because, in my opinion, if you've got a dog with joint issues, give it a joint supplement. Absolutely. Don't buy a bag of dog food which has got a small amount of joint supplement in it. Give them the best quality standard dog food you can manage, which suits them, and then add something to it.
But the supplement can suit everyone. It doesn't have to just be raw feed as well. And if you target it and formulate it right, like our products are doing now, it will sell itself. It will absolutely get out there. People can see, and people become more educated all the time. Most educated voices in the raw food industry now are growing like crazy. So it's not, if your product's good, it will get out there.
Yeah. So how are you finding it in terms of the logistics of actually growing so quickly? Because like I said, I moved to 2 warehouses.
Yeah.
And just the headache that involves. I remember our first warehouse, because we had our first real spike of growth when Woodpecker went bankrupt years ago. And so we went from sort of 10, 15 grand a week to 20, 25 grand a week, which is massive. It was massive overnight. And so we ended up putting a load of shipping containers outside our warehouse, stacking them on top of each other around all this place. Oh man, it didn't look great. I'm like, it didn't look great. But if we just couldn't keep the stock, that was the trouble. It was we needed the stock, and what you can't do as a distributor is run out of stuff continuously. So we had to make sure we had it. And if you've gone from selling 10 ton of peanuts a week to 25 ton of peanuts a week.
Yeah.
But then suddenly you need to keep 50 to 100 ton in stock.
You need people to get it from, the money to buy it, and a place to store it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's difficult. It brings the challenges again. We moved production unit just over 15 months ago now. And then, you're delighted once you're in. A little bit overwhelmed, and we thought we'd be here for 3 to 5 years. And now we sit there with a 40-foot container outside, an office outside, because we can't fit anything else inside. Constantly moving things around. We're trying to optimize and really be neat with the space we've got. I suppose that's what's delaying the sort of investment into supplements and that kind of thing. Like we just don't have the space as it stands. So with a growing business, you're firefighting all the time, and it's so hard to get ahead of it. And, sometimes I don't think people quite understand what goes into it, how hard the team are working. You can only put so many machines and so many staff in there. Like, you really need to start planning it out, and that's where we're coming. We're at now. We're trying to be much more strategical, bring the right people in, not just anyone in and train them up. We're bringing the right people in now and getting people involved. As the business is growing and the profile of the business is growing, people want to be involved. Like, the past few weeks alone, like, LinkedIn's been on fire. The amount of people reaching out, and then we have recruitment people reaching out, and the amount of people who are leaving, especially with a lot of acquisitions going on at the moment, and production being moved out of the UK. Executives, people who are high up in their ranks now want to step down and don't want to deal with that kind of infrastructure anymore, and they want to come to the startup and they want to do that work. So enticing people in to the company, it's become a lot easier in that sense. But again, it just comes back to a question of finances, planning, manpower, labour. We're already looking now at the next unit, the next production site, but how big do you go? If we do what we've just done, we need to sort of get something 5, 6, 7 times the size of where we are now, not just twice the size. So that future planning and everything that comes with it.
But people is that one of the hardest parts of it.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I'll be honest with you, like, you give me the business, like, on its own with no people, everybody's a robot like me, hanging around doing what I would do.
Yeah.
It would be the easiest thing in the world to scale up anything. I think, like, when you're employing people, it's tough.
Yeah, it is, especially when you're asking them to lug 30 kilos of meat rounds, and it's not always the most glamorous job.
It's a dirty industry. I mean, my drivers, they used to lug around like sacks of hissing, sacks of peanuts and bags of pig's ears, and like, go home smelling the pet food at the end of the day. It's not a glamorous industry.
No, it's not, but it's fine. The right people, I'm saying, I'm like, I absolutely idolize my staff, every one of them. They wouldn't have lasted in the business if not, but like, the staff we've got are fantastic. We've retained them well, and that we're growing that team now. But like I said earlier, it's about being a bit more strategic and bringing the right people in. So sort of more senior recruitment. And I'm finding senior recruitment's a lot easier than sort of boots on the ground, if you like. You get the workforce, you kiss plenty of frogs trying to find the right one. And we've done plenty of that. We've had a lot of people coming and going, and, there's a lot of employment at the minute too. So you never scarce of applicants. It's finding the right applicants and understanding. We put a job advert live and, a warehouse, and we're getting 300-400 applications. The needle in the haystack kind of thing, isn't it? So we've gone round, and again, it's not the most glamorous job in the world. We make it the best we can, Jim, and the team's great. We're more of a family than we are a team. It's the banter in that place is unbelievable, and we have some great nights out. We've got a lot planned coming up, and because a lot of my mind plan to make a fantastic workplace, but there's so much that's got to go into that to get that right, and so many resources and again, capital, and we're finding our feet and we're learning on the go, So
no, that's what I mean. Look, it's I totally get where you are. I've seen. I mean, obviously, I was different, so I was more distribution, the original manufacturing and distribution. But I totally understand your pain points. To be honest, so
it's exciting though when you, like I said to you before, they're not problems. We don't have problems. It's just progression. It's just the next step in the road. So it's hard to complain about them because they're not problems. Like, be fine to sit here and never take anyone else on. Stay with going by force. Stay in the same production unit, but that's not me as a person. That's definitely not the way Mersey heads. And like, we can't. If we tried to slow things down, we couldn't. And we do. We reduce spend. We hold back on certain things, and it doesn't make no difference. So, it's embrace it, roll with it, bring the right people in, keep the keep the attitudes and the identity of the place good, everyone on board themselves naturally to that. If the mission's strong, which I think it is, then everyone goes with it.
And like I say, you're doing things differently. You're like, it's easy, you know. I've seen obviously raw companies pop up and they're just carbon copies of other raw companies. And what I like about your company is you are doing things differently. You know, you're using different proteins. You're packing things differently. You're trying other things out. But what other products have you got on the way? Have you got a pipeline, or are you?
We've got some Christmas minces coming, of course. People banging the door down for them, and we're behind. Bringing these new tubs in, it's been a big task, you know, and we're doing everything with the current label we've got, from design to, you know, everything. So it's had a knock-on effect in the business, and it's a short-term pain but a long-term gain. Like it's going to change everything once they're in production and working just fine, which will be very soon, and we're on the cusp of that now, but it's just delayed certain things. We have some huge plans. We want to bring out a separate range that incorporates certain things that we don't at the moment that we get asked for. And yeah, we're obviously like supplements, like we've said. There's tons of things. I'm planning in the background for a similar product, the physical product itself. So the minces won't change really, but it's how we sort of present them, how we bring them to market, how we package them, how convenient we make them. And if we can get that right, then I am convinced it's an absolute game changer. I think it stands head and shoulders above everything. But again, the amount of work that's got to go into it and getting things right, bringing in new machines, you know, some of the machines are 5 meters long. We're not fitting a 5 meter machine in the warehouse that we're in now. So it's additional warehouse space, moving the licenses across and all that thing. So there's so much in the pipeline. If I wrote it all down, no one will believe me, but there's so much there. But we're just working our way through it, as well as keeping the day-to-day going. But yeah, in the immediate future, there's some Christmas minces. There's 2 that have performed really well over previous years, and we've got a brand new one coming. And then
what's in it? Don't just tell me turkey and cranberry. Come on.
We're doing a reindeer, duck and apple. We're doing a whole festive pheasant, so the whole bird.
Nice.
And then we're going to do a pork, turkey and cranberry.
Nice. Well, no, I can go with that. I just thought you were going to say turkey and cranberry, and that would be the easy one, wouldn't it? But whole pheasant, I'm liking that. I think.
Yeah, whole pheasant, the whole bird. It's sort of sourced a few miles away from where we are. They'll be going in fresh. You know, it'll be we'll be done the mashing, and it was great. And then we got requests for them all year round. But again, that's seasonal. Not something we would do all year round. It can present its challenges, but we can gear up for it towards Christmas, and that's done really well. And you know, it's funny. So my dog's pair of them absolute gannets. They will eat anything, absolutely anything. But Pluto, my little Frenchie, it's just not for him. The festive pheasant's the only thing he's ever tasted.
Really?
But it's the whole bird's going in. The fur, the lot, the feathers. So that can deter some dogs, and other dogs are absolutely crazy for it. So in that one always sort of splits the audience. But yeah, across the 3, you know, got some good options there, and got some treat boxes and various other things to come up with it. But yeah, Christmas will be good, and then New Year, just settle ourselves down, get everything sort of re-secured and bolster everything again, and you know, go again, see what next year brings.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. I'm glad I didn't piss on your bro as well.
Not quite. We just hear this afterwards.
And so like, how is your sort of like breakdown now between B2B to D2C? Because you do both, right?
Yeah, we do both, and it's changing all the time. So we've done very little marketing, next to none in that sense. The product, certainly early on B2B, it grown massively, and it was all organic, sort of word of mouth, and there's a lot of Facebook communities, and then someone talks about it, and then it grows. So the B2B side at the moment, it's just, whereas people would stock up at once monthly, that was it. Whereas now we're hearing from these people every 2 to 3 weeks, but the order's twice the size. And you know, unfortunately, a couple of companies recently have gone out of business. So we've had the panic phone calls of, can you get us this, and can you get us as soon as possible? And again, like this in the situation you have, not to the scale where it's doubled the business, but you know, the orders B2B lately have just grown exponentially. What people were taking in a month are now taking in a week. So it's quite hard to say, because it's you know, customer retention and that kind of thing. It's forever evolving, and Different brands are popping up all the time. Some brands are no longer around. So it's always changing. But split early on was, 90-10 B2B. It's much more balanced out now. Yeah, but they both, as you know, present their own challenges.
I mean, I think as well, like your products are very much right for independent, like pet specialty stores, just because you have so many USPs with what you do. Because you use, let's say, when you do the rabbit one, you use the fur, you're using the whole bird.
Yeah,
there's so many sales points there, which you don't get with like much of the competition. So just from an educational standpoint, once you've got people on board with your products, and it does lend itself to that knowledge economy. Yeah. And also, look, for the ideologues, the raw feeding ideologues, they're going to love it.
Absolutely. Well, like you said there, if you look at our whole range, we cover a lot. When we try to, we offer some boneless minces, some offal-free minces. We offer some of them with the whole bird, and then the whole rabbit goes in, and some 80-10-10. We try and cater to the needs of almost everyone the best we can. But yeah, we do lend ourselves, and we love the independence. But you don't know the economy, you don't know what's coming in the world of business, so it's hard to commit. But I am very committed to independence, and I wanted to stay that way. And all independents get a very good radius from us. That radius increases with spend, and as the relationship grows, we treat them as an extended part of Mersey Raw, and we want to support them. There's going to be definitely a push coming to support the independents a lot more. But it's understanding what they want. There's certain shops who'll send out 10 pallets with DPD every single day and only have 5 customers through the door. There's other shops that have 200, 300, 400 customers through the door every day, but don't send a single pallet out with a courier at all. So it's just finding out what suits each individual one, looking at wrap freezers, USPs, point of sale points, stuff to put around the place and support them, and even doing things like this, coming down and meeting them, chatting with them. So I'm putting time in that way, but as it's growing, it's just finding what hits for that specific person. But like, everything's going organically really well. So the main priority is to keep up. All the other stuff on top of that, it's hard to fit in because we're trying to get the product out the door as it is.
Yeah. I mean, what sort of minimum orders do you have for let's say a normal raw food in store or a pet store? And
just at the moment, something I've just been thinking about on the way down here, we just set a new account up with a new haulier that we've tried over the past 2 weeks, doing really well, very reasonable rates. We have a different economic on how we ship them to obviously keep it frozen. So we can reduce the minimum order. That's what we do. At the moment, it's 18 trays, which isn't a massive amount. A standard tray has about 12 kilo in it. And then we do the kilo tubs, which are a little bit heavier per tray. So it's not a huge amount, sitting under 200 kilos. But again, I'm reducing that. It's just finding that right balance of getting it to them, the cost of getting it to them. You've got to factor in damages in that too, Ledger.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If anyone who deals with couriers, they know what can be like.
Losses. I mean, look.
Yeah, and because we're perishable goods, a lot of people don't understand this. If they delay it and it sits there and falls out and becomes a big puddle of meat, we get nothing. We cannot clean a single penny. We've sent orders out to the cost of £2,500, and they've delayed them, and they've sat there warmed up, sent us pictures of them, and just went in the bin. There's nothing we can do about that. And we've had stockers call us saying this order's arrived, have rejected it because it was slightly thawed out. So Jesus Christ, so there's a couple of ton of meat going in the bin and thousands of pounds. So there's nothing we can do about it. We lose everything. We can't claim a certain thing. So it's having that balance right. We try and keep the minimum order as low as possible to make it worthwhile doing. And then we want to onboard people too, and we don't want them to have to fill 4 chest freezers. Some people don't have walking freezers. So we're really trying to find that balance. But at the same time, it's got to be economical, and then we take them losses on the chin. We can't do that as well as breaking even.
No, so how I used to do it is I literally budgeted as part of my profit model for losing. I would expect to get, I think it was something like £8,000 a year in bad debts, maybe more, maybe £10,000 a year. And so it's
definitely one deal alone could be 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. And then I used to budget for about the same in losses and theft.
Yeah.
But yeah. And it varied. It, like, obviously the more we were taking, I'd push those numbers. It would always be as a percentage of your overall thing, but you just have to work these into your models.
Yeah. as it does for everyone, it gets my back up too. I don't like it and I don't accept it. I accept mistakes, that's absolutely fine, but don't accept the, they call you and they're kind of sorry about that. Like, that's not good enough for a small business. We're not running at this as the power of a big company with millions behind us, and we're working on very reasonable terms. We have great relationships with everyone, very good payment terms. We don't have ginormous margins. We try and pass on a great margin to all our stockists as well. So when we're working as hard as we are and trying to achieve what we are, for someone just to call you up, be like, sorry about that, I don't accept it. Hence why we put another courier in place and another haulage company. We will kiss as many frogs as we need to find that right one, and we will work on that continuously. We're bringing in managers into the business now. We're going to handle them and deal with sort of account managers into other businesses and couriers and really scrutinise them, because it's not good enough in that sense. And sometimes they'll lose a parcel or damage it. They always try and hide behind and perishable goods. It doesn't matter if there's a diamond in that box or dog food. If they lose or damage it, it's irrelevant what's in it. And don't think it's good enough for them just to sort of wash the hand of it and say sorry. Like, sorry, it does not pay any bills and it doesn't stock our stockers freezers and that doesn't feed dogs.
No, it's difficult because it is all a balance. There's a balance between your DPDs or whatever being as economical as possible getting to the end user.
Yeah.
And then actually having a system that works. I mean, I remember when I first started doing national deliveries, I used to use TNT, which were more expensive than it was Yodel at the time or DHL. But I was sending Yodel, and after stuff wasn't getting there, or it was taking a week to get there rather than the next day. Whereas TNT, in by 2, they get the next day, the mail where it is. And then I ended up switching to DPD because they gave me full tracking on everything.
Yeah, that's a really strong point of DPD, isn't it? That the infrastructure is absolutely brilliant and the amount of depots, but with the power, they make plenty of money, so they don't care when they mess up, or if you threaten them a little bit to pull your account back. Okay, I don't really care, so we can't use that card at the moment.
But I think with DPD, I just used to take it on the chin. If they lost the parcel, I didn't even bother claiming it, It was just the claiming procedure was just chaos. It was.
I agree, but it probably costs us more to claim than what we get from it, because we can only claim our bare cost back. We don't claim the sale price. We claim what it cost us to produce that, and we can't put labour on that either. So we're claiming the meat, the tub and the box, and that's it. So we definitely lose money to claim, but I don't know, but the Scouse thing, you definitely feel obligated to not let them get away with it.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it happens so rarely for me, and the amount of money I would get back from it, it wasn't worth my time to spend.
That is not a perfect storm for DPD. They know no one's going to claim, so they have less onus. They don't care whether they lose it.
Yeah, I suppose because it happens so irregularly.
Yeah.
That I think if it was to happen, if I was getting a box a week,
of course,
then you do something about it. Like I did with Yodel, I just ditched them. I just if DPD were making those, because I haven't got time to be, and I don't want to employ somebody to be doing DPD claims to buy. So it's it's better. You're better off just finding a company that doesn't lose it all the time. To be honest,
you know what? Because I don't. But no, they're definitely the best of a lot bunch. We tried many, and the success rates, what they come in and tell you when they sell you the package is absolutely not the success rates there when it comes to performance. But DPD, they're the best of a lot bunch, and the hauliers we're using now, they've been fantastic, and that's the beauty with growth. Everybody wants to offer you the services. Everyone's coming in, and we can do this, and I can give you this account manager, and so we're enjoying that now, and we're still at a very small scale compared to some. So we can improve on that, and we will. It's not just kind of that's the way it is, let's accept it and grow. Let's keep challenging, and we will get it right.
Actually, I used to find, because I used to have a good relationship with my account manager, that to be honest, if I was peed off, I'd just phone him and he'd sort something out for me.
But is it a good relationship? Because you only have a split to them and you got a cop on.
Yeah, well, actually, to be fair, he was actually, my account manager, he was a good laugh. So he used to come down and just have cups of tea with us and have a laugh. So he actually didn't mind, and I used to say, look, dude, sort this out, man. That lost 2 boxes in a week.
Yeah.
And it just I'll sort it.
Yeah.
And it
is good. We do have a good relationship as well, but it can be a strained relationship because you're not calling them to ask how the dog is. You're calling them to ask where that XYZ's pallets have gone or what they've done with this, and they can be the middleman. So you feel sorry sometimes. They get the poor end of the stick, don't they? They're not the ones delivering the parcel. They're the ones you're going to kick about for losing the bar. Someone they've never even seen it. So it can be a couple. They're there for a reason. They're your account manager for a reason.
So Ben, if people want to get in contact with Mersey Raw, they want to buy your stuff, they want to get all over you and get some of that 𝐓𝐘𝐒 and their Christmas pheasant.
Yeah.
What's the best way to get in contact with you?
You can head over to our website. It's just merseyraw.com. You can fire an email to hello@merseyraw.com, or we're on all major social media platforms and they're regularly monitored. So there's many ways to get in touch with us.
Yeah. Thanks a million for coming in, Ben. Loving what you're doing. And thanks a million, dude.
Thanks for having me.
See you, man.